Hello, we're Team 6 and we're going to present the management accounting Siemens case. Introducing the Siemens case, Siemens Electric Motor Works navigated challenges in a competitive market, transitioning from standard motor production to focusing on low-volume customized motors. The traditional cost system proved to be inadequate for accurately estimating cost with the new strategy, particularly in tracing overhead costs related to order processing and special components. Adoption of an activity pay-based costing system called Procasta enable precise allocation of cost. Also helps management make informed decisions about profitability and order acceptance.
Thank you, Marta. So as we just saw in this first exercise, we had to distinguish how those new costs of order processing and special components are traced. Let's take a step back. Previously, we know that super costs were based on materials, labor, and machine hours. And now, as we just said, costs are based on the number of orders and special components. They created two cost pools to do so. One for order processing, where they sent 6.3 million Dutch mark, and the other one for special components with a total amount of 27 million Dutch mark. Those costs are coming from the administrative and engineering cost pools. With this new cost system, the workload depends on component variety, not quantity, and the costs, as we said, are divided by the number of orders to calculate the unit costs.
So now we'll discuss order processing costs, which amount to 30,800,000 Dutch mark, and the number of orders is 65,625. We then divide this, the 30,800,000 by the 65,625 by the 65,625, and we get the unit cost of 2,210.29 Dutch mark. And then we have the special component cost, which amounts to 19,500,000 Dutch mark, and the number of special components is 325,000, which is a 30K different types of special components. And then we divide this again and we get a unit cost of 60 DM per component.
Now, in the second question of this case study, we are required to calculate the total cost per order, but under the new costing system. Remember what Victor said about the new costing system. Now we have two cost pools, order processing cost and special component cost that must be incurred in the calculation of total cost per order, apart from the cost of base motor and the cost of components.
So let's start by looking at how the activity-based costing system allocates costs for each of the 5 orders. The ABC systems breaks down the cost into specific components, allowing Siemens to calculate costs with much greater precision compared to the traditional system. We are focused on 3 main components. First, we have the base motor cost, which is fixed at 304 DM for all orders, regardless of their complexity. Next, the order processing cost, calculate as the total process cost divided by the number of orders. This gives us a fixed cost of 210.29 DM per order. And finally, the component handling cost, which is calculated based on the number of special components in the order. This cost is 60 DM per component. So this table clearly shows how the number of special components significantly impacts the total cost. The ABC systems give Siemens a much clearer picture of how costs are distributed and which factors drive the expenses. So now let's take a look at this visual representation of the cost breakdown for each order. The graph shows how each component contributes to the total cost, making it easier to identify the main cost drivers. So at the bottom of each bar, we see the base motor cost, which is fixed at 304 DM for all orders. And above that, we have the components cost, which increase from left to right as the number of special components increase. And the order processing cost is constant at 210.29 DM for all orders, as shown in the same section across all bars. And finally, at the top, we have the component handling cost, which is the most variable part. It grows significantly with the number of special components, as you can see in orders D and E.
So now in question 3, we are required to know the total cost per order, but under the traditional system. It's important to point out that under the traditional system, the cost of special components and the cost of base motor are incurred, yes, but they don't include the support-related overhead costs. Plus, the two cost pools that were created under the new costing system are also not included. So the total cost per order only includes the sum of the base motor cost, the cost of component, the pre-support cost, and the support 35% cost.
Yes, as you can see, as explained earlier, you can see it in this table. So we have the base motor cost, which remains at 247 for all orders. Then we have the components cost, which is the components cost of 32.2 multiplied by the number of different special components. This adds up to the pre-support costs. And on the pre-support costs, we calculate the support costs of 35%, which leads us to the total per order cost. This is also displayed in the graph where you can see that the base motor costs remains the same among all orders from A to E, whereas the components costs increases with the number of components, and also the base motor costs overall, and also the support costs increase based on the number of special components.
So to conclude our presentation, let's compare the total cost per order under the new costing system and the traditional. Under the new costing system, the total costs per order will be higher to all orders due to the fact that now we have two cost pools, order processing and component handling, that push the cost up. In addition, under the new costing system, the cost of base motor and of components are higher since the support-related overhead costs are included. 54 Deutsche Marks for cost of base motor and 7.4 Deutsche Marks for cost of components. This will also increase the total cost per order under the new costing system. However, with more cost pools under the new costing system, we have a better understanding how costs are allocated. Thank you for your attention.